What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are going to check out the Studio Cabs Cali Oversized plugin from Getgood Drums. Let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take awesome high gain amplifiers, cabinets, plugins, overdrives, I record them with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes who never clean their glasses, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button on the way out and subscribing so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! So that intro track was actually a track off of my band Bushido Code's full-length The Ronin called 1600, and I actually have the studio drums and bass as they were mixed for the album at my disposal. So what I decided to do to showcase a bunch of these cabinets in this plugin was to have myself and my guitarist Derek re-record all of our tracks with a PV5150 and then kind of cycle through some of the cabinet and microphone options that you guys saw on the screen during the playthrough. So hope that you enjoyed that. As you can tell, There is a wide range of not only cabinets or speakers in this plugin, but also great microphones and ways to dial them in. But even though you really do have a lot of options and a lot of control, it's really still super simple and intuitive to use. So I found it extremely easy to get good tones when Derek and I were originally setting up. We set up on the massive cab just to track, and honestly, as soon as we hit the first note, we really didn't have to change much of anything within the plugin. We just adjusted the amp settings and we were happy with what we got out of it. So before we get too deep into this plugin, I just need to mention that Getgood Drums did ask me to show this to you guys and provided a free copy of the plugin. But even though they provided a free copy, you're still gonna get my honest thoughts and opinions. So with that being said, let's open this up and jump into some tones. Okay guys, so when you open up the plugin, this is what you're greeted with. You are automatically loaded up with the massive cab and an SM57, which honestly sounds great right off the bat. Okay, so perfectly usable tones as soon as you open up the plugin. For the layout here, you have one spot that is already loaded, but you've got 6 additional spots, and you can load up every single one of those spots with a different cab or speaker impulse and a different microphone. So you do have a lot of options here, but like I said, even though you have so many options to play with, the interface is really simple and intuitive to get a good tone, and it really seems like this was designed with that in mind. You really can't get a bad or broken tone out of here. Even if you load up every single one of these spots, it never sounds like something is going haywire. With other IR loaders and other IRs, you can tend to get phasing issues with different speaker impulses, and that never happens on here. So that's a nice plus. So jumping into the cab section, you've got up front, massive, thick, smooth, detailed, and guttural. And then in the microphone section, you've got 8 different microphones here. These bottom 6 microphones are very common and probably ones that you'll find in other impulse response packs, so you should be kind of familiar with how they're going to alter your tone. The top 2 are mics that I have not really seen a whole lot in a lot of impulse response packs, so those are gonna be kind of new to me. We'll go through a few of these. I'm gonna go through each and every cab individually, and then we'll start blending some stuff. So you heard the massive. Here's the up front with the SM57. All right, so up front is definitely brighter and bitier. Let's go over to thick. All right, so obviously it's a lot thicker, it's fuller sounding, it's more neutral. No frequencies are really standing out. It's just a well-balanced impulse response there. Go over to smooth. Obviously, as the title says, it's very smooth sounding. It sounds like a really well broken in V30 that's got hundreds of hours on it, and the tone has really smoothed out. So that would be a good one to blend. If you've got something that's a little bit too bright, you want to throw that on top of a brighter impulse. That'll kind of even things out a little bit. Here we have the detailed, which is my personal favorite. Which you can probably tell why if you've been here at my channel before. You know I like my tones a little bit on the brighter side, and this cab definitely kind of caters to that. And finally, we've got the guttural. And the guttural kind of has more of a low mid grunt or a throaty type of thing going on. Definitely really good for heavy stuff in my opinion, because that's going to add some of that lower mid growl that you're going to want from your tones. So overall, you've got 6, although all based on vintage 30 speakers, they're all pretty different sounding impulse responses. So let's go ahead and start blending some of these, because I can already tell that we're going to be able to get some great tones by combining 2 responses that really complement each other. So I'm going to go back to the detailed because I really liked it. And we're going to also add the guttural, but we're going to change the mic up a little bit. Let's try a 121. All right, I am actually gonna turn the highs down and the mids down on my amp a little bit. So that sounds pretty good. Let's try a different mic though. I'm not totally loving that. The MD421U I've noticed I'm liking a lot, and I like the U a lot better than the 2 because the 2 has a lot of that top end fizziness going on that I tend to not like about 421s, but the U just seems more full bodied, it's rounder in the mids and a little bit more forward. And just like that, it's super easy to get a great tone. So you can either pan these left and right with these knobs up top here. You can raise or lower the level of each individual cab with these sliders. And then down on the bottom, you've got a dark and bright knob. And what that essentially does, if you move it to dark, that's like moving the microphone further away from the center of the speaker. And if you want it brighter, it's like moving it close to the center of the speaker. So say that we want a little less brightness on the detailed and a little bit more brightness, more brightness on the MD421U. That sounds great to me. Honestly, I don't want to do much to touch that. Over here on the right-hand side, you've also got a master EQ, and what that does, when you click that on, it's essentially like putting somewhat of a mix-ready EQ onto the impulse responses. It's going to take off the low lows, it's going to take off the high highs, and then there are going to be a couple dips. I believe Nolly said somewhere in the low mids, some of the frequencies that you would typically take out when you're trying to fit your guitar tones into a mix. He has basically already done that for you with this master EQ. So if you want to just stick these in a mix real quick, flip that switch on, and it should get rid of all the frequencies that you would normally want to try to EQ out yourself. So here's how it sounds without that on. Master EQ is on. So like I said, as you can see, it takes away a lot of those spiky highs, thins out the low end a little bit so it's not stepping on the bass drum and the bass EQ frequencies, and really just makes it a little bit more mix ready. If you want to do your own EQing after the fact, you can turn that off and then just go in, add a separate EQ later on. So I am going to try adding 2 more cabs just to be ridiculous. We're going to add the massive and we're going to add the thick. And let's throw an M160. This may sound not that great, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to just throw on a bunch of different cabs and start messing with stuff. Honestly, that sounds really good. I'm surprised. That sounded really good. I don't think that I got to do much other than maybe add some brightness because the M160 tends to be pretty dark up top. That sounds good. So let's kick that master EQ on just to see what it does. So obviously that will fit in the mix much better because there's a lot less low end going on there. So yeah, it's just super easy to dial in a good tone, guys. Last but not least, what we have on here are a bunch of presets from both Misha and Nolly. So I think that's really cool. They gave you a bunch of stuff that they thought sounded good. So let's try a couple of those out real quick. Okay, Modern and Massive from Misha. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so that is very MIDI and a lot of the high end rolled off. Let's go down into Nolly's presets and let's try Firm Yet Crumbly. That one sounds really good. I'm a really big fan of that. And then of course, you can actually alter this how you see fit and then save it to your own bank of user presets. So therefore, if you find some tones that you're really happy with, you don't have to go in, dial it back in all over again. You can just plug it into your own preset bank and you're good to go. All right guys, so overall, I absolutely recommend this plugin. I am super happy with it. There are a lot of really good impulse response plugins and packs out there. I'm a fan of many of them, but this has got to be just the easiest to dial in a very good usable tone. Nolly has kind of taken all of the guesswork out of it and really made it extremely simple for you to just plug in, dial in a good impulse response and go. So if I'm just trying to dial up some quick tones for a demo, or I'm gonna record my own band here very soon, I really feel like these impulse responses are gonna make it super simple for me to get a great tone without having to spend so much time with the microphone placement and different impulse responses and everything. There's a number of tones that I've already been happy with inside of this plugin with very, very little work. I think it is accurate to the real deal. I have multiple Mesa cabinets and I've had a ton of them over the years. And while they do all vary, certain cabs from certain periods tend to have kind of a signature sound depending on how much they've been played due to the speakers that are inside of them. And I can definitely hear the voicing of cabs that I have formerly owned in this plugin. So yeah guys, 40 bucks right now. That is the introductory price. I think it is well worth it. It goes up to $50 soon. I'm not sure exactly how long that introductory price lasts. So I would suggest that you go and grab it now. I do not get any sort of kickback. I have no affiliate links for this. I genuinely just think that it is a great plugin and you guys should have it in your arsenal, especially if you're a fan of vintage 30 speakers like myself. But even at $50, it is more than a great value. So thanks again to Nolly and Getgood Drums for sending this out to me to make a video for you guys. I really enjoyed this plugin, but ultimately, I wanna know what you guys thought. Let me know down in the comments, what did you hear on your end that I'm not hearing here in the room? If you guys have this plugin, how are you using it? What have your experiences been so far? Are you digging it as much as I am? Like I said, leave a comment down below. I'll meet you down there to chat about it. Down in the description of this video are all my support links, including my Sweetwater affiliate link. If you go down there and click that link, get yourself something nice from Sweetwater. I get a little kickback and it massively helps me out and helps the channel grow. There is also the link to my Patreon. Consider becoming a Patreon member and supporting the channel that way. And finally, consider becoming a member of the Belligerent Amateur community by joining my Discord server and my Facebook group. Again, the links are down in the description of this video. Would love to have you guys hang around and talk gear more often. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you found this video helpful. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.